Hello, I'm Dr. Melanie McLaren. Wanted to share information today on one of my favorite treatments for allergies, NAET. And it's a non invasive treatment that's great for people of all ages, even children. So, a little bit about myself first. I'm the owner of Dragonfly 360 Wellness. I'm a nationally board certified naturopathic doctor. I'm also a certified NAET practitioner. The N in NAET is for Dr. Nambudrapad, who created this treatment, and I got to train with her. She's retired now, so I feel very lucky about that. I have a bachelor's of science in engineering. I had my own healing crisis that actually led me to go back to school to become a naturopath, doctor, and also yoga teacher. And we are located in Indianapolis, but I do offer virtual consults as well as in office. Some of my main things I deal with are, excuse me, digestive issues, allergies, food sensitivities, sleep, mood issues, weight issues, hormonal imbalances. I do also have a supervising physician, so I do bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, as well as using herbals to help people balance their hormones and also helping people deal with toxic load syndromes such as from environmental toxins or molds. So, why people come to see me? Um, they've been dealing with a chronic issue for a while and they want to figure out the why. So, I'm trying to get to the root of the issue. And also, many people have already been to a doctor and they can't figure out what's wrong with them, or they'll say, your labs are normal. So they'll come to help me address those conditions because I know they just don't feel like themselves. And so we can help them refine and balance their life and start to feel like themselves again. So, what are allergies and where do they come from is what we'll start with today. And then we'll talk a little bit about what causes them, treating them, the NAET principles. There's going to be a demonstration video in here actually showing the treatment and what to expect post treatment. So, allergies and hypersensitivities are an inappropriate response by the immune system to something that normally would be not harmful. I'm going to take tree pollen as an example. Right now it's spring in Indiana, so lots of pollen. But you should be able to be outside and enjoy yourself. I mean, the body naturally should not have allergies. And it is a chronic inflammatory condition in the body. And it medically, the term allergy actually relates to sensitivity reactions to protein. So we always want to make sure the gut is working and you're able to break down proteins, and that can also help with the allergy response. So, where do they come from? It can be a combination of things, usually from physical, chemical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, which we'll talk about with the NAT. So it could be a combination of these genetic predisposition. You could have had early antibiotics in life that affected your microbiome. It can also be a frequent contact with the substance. Example of that could be mold exposure if you're living in a moldy environment. Can be due to deficiencies and excesses. Deficiency could be vitamin D or vitamin C that could affect the immune system. Excesses could be if you're eating too much sugar, and that's tipping the balance of the body. Could also be from leaky gut syndrome, and detoxification. Energy pathways could be blocked, and that will cause toxins to build up. And then allergies can generate more allergies. So once those histamines are high, the body can start to respond to more things. And this is just a quote from a MD that treats allergies. So they're just saying, really shouldn't ignore them. If you don't take the time to treat them, it could lead to other problems in the body, and that is because it is an inflammatory response. Many times someone will come in, they're just taking allergy medicine year round, and it's like I just explained, the body should not have allergies. Like, let's figure out the why there so you feel better and you don't need that medication. So the response to allergens from the body, if we look at the body's energy field, or you can think of it as the nervous system as well, the potential threat will come within the field. So if you go outside around the tree pollen, and this is going to activate the body's defense reaction, and the nervous system is the first thing to be triggered. So then that will trigger the stress reaction or the flight or fight system in our body, and then that will mobilize our immune system. So nervous system is activated before the immune system, and so that's important to note. And that's also why a lot of times people with allergies also feel anxiety or they can't sleep, brain fog, because the nervous system is being impacted. So NAET is an acronym. Some people will say NAET or NAET as far as pronouncing it, but it stands for Nambudripad's Allergy Elimination Technique. So Dr. Devi Nambudripad created this in 1983. That's practiced worldwide, and mostly it's using Chinese medicine principles and nutritional science. If you would like to visit the NAET website, there's also studies on there you can take a look at. So the two main principles are a strong muscle cannot maintain contraction in a state of stress. So that just means if your body comes in contact with tree pollen or eggs, whatever it is that it doesn't like, if we're pressing on the muscle while you're coming in contact with that, your body cannot hold it. It will make the body weak. And then that stressor or presence of the allergen is going to produce a state of stress in the body. And that's what we're working to eliminate. So muscle testing will tell us what you're sensitive to. I do use muscle testing. If someone comes in and I feel like they do have immediate food allergies, I do blood tests to check what those are, or I'll send them to an allergist so we know what we're dealing with. But for sensitivities, your environmental allergies, definitely we can muscle test and see what is making your body weak. And then we can tell which meridians are blocked if we need to, so we can determine, okay, what's being affected by this allergen if it's not apparent. And then afterwards, after we do the treatment, we can tell which ones are okay, have been desensitized by the treatment. And again, for immediate or anaphylaxis allergies, that would require testing to make sure those were gone before you would try to ingest them. And so how it works is we're stimulating just very particular acupressure points. And then there's two sets of points along the spine. And those are resetting the nervous system to not respond to the allergen. So it's basically balancing the nervous system and then removing those blockages of the energy in the meridians to calm the nervous system. So then the immune system is never triggered. So we'll watch a video here of the technique itself so you can see what it
NAET is a revolutionary technique used for the treatment of allergies to restore health. NAET can treat allergies from those found in foods, chemicals, medications, right through to environmental allergens. It's also been seen to restore good quality of life in other health issues, such as fatigue, a curvature of the spine, or alopecia. Allergies can cause headaches, breathing problems, indigestion, bloating, fatigue, aggression, depression, and anger. In fact, any symptom anywhere in the body. Allergies can also affect us on many different levels: physical, nutritional, or emotional levels. The technique was invented by leading chiropractor and MD, Dr. Devi Nambudripad, who has studied both Western and Eastern medicine extensively. Thanks to this amazing discovery and subsequent research, we can now rebalance the body and reduce allergies. An allergy is an inappropriate response to an item, It could even be the fabrics we wear or the washing powder. The brain perceives the item as a threat and tells the body to react against it, creating an inappropriate immune response. NAET rebalances that inappropriate response. The process involves re-educating the brain, teaching it not to perceive the item as an allergy, to no longer see the item as a threat. Therefore, the brain does not instruct the body to mount an immune response. We do this by rebalancing the body using chiropractic and acupressure procedures based on Oriental medicine in the presence of the allergen. When the body perceives an item to be an allergen, blockages in the meridian system occur. It is these blockages that create the symptoms. NAET removes blockages in the meridian system created by an allergen. The meridians are understood in Oriental medicine to be like rivers of energy flowing through the body. The Chinese have inferred their existence based on clinical experience and used them as the basis of treatment for thousands of years. For example, a person whose allergy to chocolate causes a blockage in the liver meridian gets a headache, or the stomach meridian gets a stomachache, or in the kidney meridian gets a rash, and in the large intestine meridian gets diarrhea. The person whose allergy causes blockages in many meridians at once gets severe fatigue. The number of blockages determines the severity of the symptoms, but the underlying mechanism is the same. Allergies cause blockages in the meridian system, and this, in turn, causes symptoms. NAET testing determines which meridians are blocked by a particular allergen. Then we can remove that blockage using a chiropractic technique, NAET. This involves putting pressure on certain points along the spine and on the arms and legs. Once the blockage is removed and energy is allowed to flow freely through the meridians again, the patient no longer has a symptom with that allergen. By removing interference to the flow of energy through the meridians, we're removing interference to health, and the body naturally brings itself back into balance once again.
Pretty cool, huh? It's my favorite treatment. I mean, you do have to show up and do the treatments, but it's just rebalancing the body so you feel better. So, what to expect following the treatment? Generally, you want to avoid that substance for sensitivities, environmental allergies for 25 hours, as much as you can. And in most cases, the food sensitivities will be consumed the next day and be okay. Again, as I mentioned, anaphylaxis, immediate food allergies is a different protocol. We don't tell people to go eat them until we have went through all the treatments and blood tested or sent them to their allergist to be checked on those. But it does work for those, and there are some studies on the NAET.com website regarding anaphylaxis. And then the question I get a lot, how long will it last? And if we're taking care of everything, I mean, the example I give is somebody's coming in and they're eating McDonald's every day, ultra processed foods, and they don't change their diet to be healthy, and we do the treatments, they might not hold because they're going to end up with like deficiencies. So that's why we want to make sure those are corrected and having good nutrition. You want to make sure, stress is managed as much as possible. The gut is working good. And if they were being exposed to something, like an example I gave with the mold, we're removing that from that environment too. And then it can last forever. A lot of my patients take seasonal allergies, they might come in the winter and just have me check and make sure those are strong via muscle testing before the spring. But sometimes I don't see them again. And then how long will it take to get well? And this really depends too, how long you've had the problem, how many allergies you have. In the first appointment, I generally go over that with you as to how many treatments I think you'll need, and we come up with a plan together. So, how can it benefit you? I mean, overall well being, obviously feeling better. If you have a lot of allergies and food sensitivities, probably feeling tired or having digestive issues, so those can be resolved. Um, if you're having to take allergy medication, it can reduce that dependence. And then also can impact the DNA so that if you were going to have children, they wouldn't have allergies. So we can reduce that possibility. And just a couple testimonials. This particular patient had a problem with dairy in particular. It was not an immediate allergy, it was a sensitivity. So she had really good success with that. And then she also mentions in here, if you wanted to look up NAET psychology today, there's been some articles on that as well, which was nice of her to point that out. And then another patient, she had allergies for 30 years, really struggled with them until she found NAET and it really changed her life, according to her. So, and then if you would like to come and check it out, there is an initial NAET appointment where we'll give you some treatments as well. And then the individual sessions are pretty short, like 30 minutes. You can call us to book or book online. And this does have to be an in-person appointment. So obviously you either have to come here, can't do this one virtually, just my naturopathic consults virtual. And there's some books if you want to read a little bit more by Dr. Nambudrapad to find out more about NAET. And feel free to reach out to us too if you have any questions. This is our address and contact information. Again, website, dragonfly360.net. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Dr._Melanie. And then we also have the Dragonfly 360 Instagram and Facebook. So if you have any questions, reach out to us. Thank you.